And I created Fathers Incorporated at what I believe was the worst moment of my life. I was going through a separation with the mother of my youngest child. She was 2.5 years old, and it was killing me. And because I didn't have access to her, I sat on the couch one day with pills laid out on the table, and I said to my God at that moment, if you don't give me a reason to get off of this couch, this is where they'll find me. And I sat and I sat and I sat and I waited for an answer. At about 5 hours after sitting there on that couch, he simply said to me, speak to the hearts of men. And I sat there for another few hours, and I got up and I sat down in front of my computer and I typed speak to the hearts of men at the top of the page. And 7 hours later, I had a 15-page perspective of Fathers Incorporated. In 3 days, I was incorporated. In 5 days, I had a board. Within 1 month, I was already on the road talking about fatherhood from my own perspective. Did a keynote in front of a room of people at the New York State Legislature, and in the room was the commissioner of OTDA. He called me, said he wanted to meet with me. I went to go meet with him, and he says, I got something for you. We just got $3.2 million from the legislature to start fatherhood programs across the state of New York, and I don't have anybody to do this. I think you're my guy. And I said, I'm nobody's guy. But he talked me into it, and I did it. And while I was there, they put me in workforce development, and that's where I began to work in TANF workforce development. David Hansel called me in the office, and he said, Kenny, I want to transfer you and move you. And I said, where? He says, I want to put you in child support. And I was like, oh, hell no. I am not going out there into that space and tell Dad that I'm working for within the belly of the beast. And I said, nah, I'm not going to do that. He says, come on. He says, I really believe you could do it. And I said, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. And I said, tell me why you think I should be there. And he says, it's not because I think that this work belongs there. He says, but I believe that you can go into that space and change the culture. And I walked in there with that mindset, to walk in and not only change the culture, but I think what I really was sent in there to do is to understand the culture.